What is going on, everybody? How are y'all doing tonight? I know that's a little bit of a different intro, but it had the Dodgers in it, so I had to play it. It is a Thursday night. It's one day before the World Series, and let me tell you, it's a World Series. I'm very happy to be watching this year, Buck. I am here with my main man, Buck, who is the host of D Backs D Back D. I always say it wrong. D Back Dispatch podcast. What's up, Buck? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. If we weren't such close friends, there's no way I would be on a preview show for the World Series with the Dodgers. But
But
you're,
because you love me, you're gonna do it.
yeah, of
Appreciate.
course.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So we're gonna talk some World Series. Appreciate everybody that's hanging out, watching. If you're new here, make sure to hit that follow button. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit the link tree in the description. Make sure to hit Bucks. I will have that information in there also. Follow his podcast if you're into Diamondbacks baseball, watching him throw picks in NCAA or Madden, or watching him rage at NBA 2K. Those are the things he loves to do. So make sure to check him out. Buck, it's been a crazy MLB season. Starting off with the big name going to the Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani, signing that big, huge deal. And not only that, then getting into controversy that's absolutely just disappeared. Nobody's talking about
Gone.
it. So
Just straight like it never happened.
never happened. Nobody's talking about it. His interpreter, we don't even ask where he's at. We ask no questions.
He's in jail. That's like that. That's where he is.
Is he in jail though? Is he?
Yeah.
It's a white collar crime. Is he in jail though? We'll see. But that was the big news. There was other big news. Juan Soto going to the Yankees. There's some other trades, things like that happen all year. But kind of the beginning of the year, when you looked at the MLB season, the Dodgers was one of the teams favored to make it to the World Series. Yankees, obviously, with their pedigree. I think a lot of people thought Philly, Atlanta, Philly, Padres, Atlanta. As far as in the AL, you're looking at who do you think were the favorites in AL other than the Yankees? Who were some teams that you thought were gonna be able to get there to the World Series in the AL?
So I really was curious to see because the Texas Rangers won it last year. Could they continue the role that they went on? I They didn't lose a lot of pieces, so I really thought that they would. They didn't. They did not whatsoever. They got hit with the injury bug pretty bad. I just outside the Yankees, probably the Houston Astros. Like I really
Yeah,
thought it was the Yankees one to lose. I know a lot of people were high on Baltimore, which they were good through the regular season, but
but just like their football team, playoffs come and they're a no show.
when it comes to their baseball team right now, like they just don't score. Like they've played, I think, like 5 or 6 games the last 2 years, and they've scored like 3 runs total. I'm like, yeah, that's just not going to get it done. But the thing, Baltimore is going to be good for a very long time. Like they have a lot of
Sure,
good young talent. And I'm talking about
absolutely.
baseball. We're talking
No,
the
no, I
Orioles.
agree. I
We're
agree. I
talking
agree.
the Orioles.
The Orioles are gonna be good, and just like their football team, playoffs come around, they disappear.
Why do you have to bring up their football? We are not talking
I don't know.
football.
I don't know. I just have to. It's in my blood.
Blood, okay.
But the MLB season, it had its ups and downs. Uh, but you had the Dodgers, I believe, finishing with the best record, 98 wins, 64 losses. Phillies 95 wins, Yankees 94, Guardians 92, Astros 88, Brewers 93, Padres 93. Your Diamondbacks, the last day of the season, were in a three-way tie, and they needed one team to sweep, and that just didn't happen. They decided
Don't get me
to split
started.
the game.
If you want to get
um,
my thoughts on it, I did it on my channel. So.
We did, yeah. Check out Buck's channel. Once again, D-Bag Dispatch. Check them out. They have great content over there. But let as far as the season goes, Buck, what was like your highlight? What was your what? Give me something that throughout the season you enjoyed that you love seeing. Obviously, I know you're not the biggest Dodger fan, but just give me, Shohei Otani, 50-50 club. First person to ever do that. Like
That
what
was
were some
insane.
things that just blew your mind for this season?
How good Shohei is when he just has to focus on hitting. Like he is like what he did this year was absolutely ridiculous. Like I don't hate Shohei. I don't necessarily hate the Dodger franchise. I hate a majority of the fan base. Like the fan base kind of, and again, you're fine. My coworker Cruz, fine. It's just there are some that are just like rub it in your face, and like I can't hate you when you're wearing a Jackie Robinson jersey too. Like that
Right?
just
Right? It just
I
makes it
just
worse.
yeah, it just makes me yeah. But no, like what and I think the most insane thing is what Shohei did when he clinched 50-50. That game alone, like 10 total bases.
That's an MLB The Show stat line.
Actually, on MLB The Show, on their Diamond Dynasty mode, there is a moment where you have to replicate it. You have to
Wow.
get, yeah. I'm like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Again, Dodgers and Yankees should be here. Like they
Yeah,
are both.
go ahead. Sorry, didn't finish one.
They are the best teams. Like they should be here. It's just for for the Yankees since 2009. It's the first time they've been in the World Series in 14 years. It's a very, very long time. And Dodgers have been good for a very, very long time. They just, for whatever reason, they get to the postseason and something bad happens. Maybe they're not ready. I know before this year, they were clinching the National League West like the first and second week of the month of September. So they had nothing to play for the last 2 weeks. That wasn't the case this year. They didn't clinch the division till that last week, and I think that's a major thing. Like they had something to play for up to the very end.
Yeah. And also too, there wasn't trash cans being banged, but that's another
That's
here or
one
there.
freaking year. So what's the reason 2018, 2019, 21, 22? Like, what's the excuse that
Yeah,
those years?
Diamondbacks got hot, Padres got hot. Who do we lose to? The Braves, the Boston Red
2018,
Sox.
yeah, like we're gonna talk
Boston.
about
I don't remember exactly what happened with Boston. We were just
Boston was just better that year.
yeah, they were. But before we get into the playoffs and everything, let's just kind of go over some awards, maybe some predictions for that. And we'll start off with the American League MVP. Who do you think is going to get the American League MVP this year?
He's playing in the World Series. It's Aaron Judge. Sorry. I think that Bobby Witt has made a really good case because I think overall he is more valuable to his team. Because if you take Bobby Witt off, Kansas City does not sniff the playoffs. But with Soto on the Yankees with Judge, like I think the Yankees still make the playoffs. They may not be the number one seed. They may not win the East, but what Aaron Judge did again is some of the most insane things you're ever gonna see. Like he set a record of like the fastest to like 300 homers, and he beat anyone by at least 130 games. So almost a full season. So what Aaron Judge is doing, like when he's healthy, he is the second best player in Major League Baseball behind Shohei Ohtani. I know there's a lot of Yankee fans on social media that like to clamor that they think Judge is more valuable because he plays defense.
Yeah, but the problem is when Shohei's healthy, he's also pitching.
Yeah,
Which is different. Which is different than playing outfield. infield things like pitching, is different. And so you could say, well, maybe he's more valuable this year, but I think that what Shohei did as far as numbers, um, just I think was more was crazy with what he was able to do with the lineup that the team he's on, and how he was able to perform and what he's done in the postseason. Look, it's his first postseason, and he has been destroying the ball. Like,
So we'll get into that when we do the preview, but there's some things I do have to say about Shohei in the
sure,
playoffs.
go ahead.
So I'll definitely.
Okay, we'll talk about that. Yeah. So,
But no, yeah, like Judge's stats are absolutely ridiculous. 180 hits, 58 homers, 144 runs driven in, 133 walks. So he was batting 322, getting on base at 458, slugging 700.
who was the last Triple Crown winner?
It might have been Albert Pujols. No, Miguel Cabrera, I believe, but it was a while ago. Triple Crown's really, really difficult to do because you'll see a lot of good contacting average hitters have no power, and a lot of good power hitters that drive in runs, like all their hits,
hitters.
Yeah, they're not contact hitters. It's very hard to see those players. Judge and Ohtani are definitely the two that can do it.
And we'll get to this question once we get to the playoff section of the stream. All right. Obviously, NL MVP, Shohei Ohtani.
If you ask anyone but Mets fans, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Mets anybody fans, but Mets fans.
Still like to say because Lindor plays defense, he's not just a DH, that Lindor is MVP. And I'm like, no, he's not. Like, the fact that Shohei 50-50. Like, I get no DH has ever won MVP, but he's no DH has ever done what Shohei did. Most DHs,
which is power hitters.
Yeah, they are power hitters. Like, they'll bat like 260, and they won't have 50 stolen bases. So yeah.
D-Weezy putting some money on Shohei plus 555. I hope you at least put like $1,000 on that. Like $100. What was $100? It's $5,000 right there. You put $1,000, you got 50. If you got 50 grand, I don't know how to do math, but I hope you put some money on that, D-Weezy. All right, let's get into the Cy Young Awards. Who is your American League Cy Young?
Tarik Skubal, starting pitcher for the Detroit Tigers, dominated the entire year. I think he might even get some MVP votes because what he did for the Tigers and how he would just completely shut down offenses pitching wise.
So you put $1,000, you win 5,000. Okay, so you should have put $1,000. Yeah, we all should have put $1,000 in, and then we would have made money.
But no, I think it's Tarik Skubal. Some people want to say also Emmanuel Clase, closer for the Cleveland Guardians. Literally had a under 1 ERA, which is really good, but it's really hard for a closer to win Cy Young. Just like how it's hard for a starting pitcher to win MVP. Like, it's really hard to say, oh, your best player only pitches every 5 days.
Didn't Clayton Kershaw win MVP?
Yes. Clayton Kershaw is the last non-position player to win MVP. Oh, yeah.
And then we'll have Shohei this year.
He's
not a position player. He's not a position player.
But he's an offensive player, which
but it's still not a position player. Okay. I'm just saying. I don't know if that's technically right or not, but I would assume that's right because he doesn't play any position. Plays DH. He only hits. He's not in the outfield. Oh, Eric Gagne won the Cy Young as a closer. Shout out to Eric Gagne. That guy was part of my childhood. All right, National League MVP or Cy Young winner. Who do you got there?
That one's a little bit more tough. I'm probably gonna go Chris Sale, starting pitcher for the Atlanta Braves. I think he has the best case. That one is to me is it's there's a lot of guys that are in contention for it. You got Zach Wheeler, pitcher for the Phillies as well. So I'm not that one. I think it could be multiple different pitchers, but for me personally, what the fact that Chris Sale bounced back and was the Chris Sale that we saw with the Chicago White Sox, where he completely dominated. I think it. I believe it should go to Chris Sale. So I believe he had 18. Hold on, I'm grabbing his numbers real quick. Yeah, he was 18-3 with a 2.38 ERA, 225 strikeouts, and 177 innings. Like that stat line right there to me, really reads that he should, yeah, definitely deserves the Cy Young. And he hadn't been a good pitcher since about 2017.
Okay.
So it had been a hot minute since he had been actually good.
All right, we'll just do managers of the year. We won't do rookies. American League Manager of the Year for you.
I say the Detroit Tigers manager, so AJ Hinch. They were major sellers at the trade deadline on July 31st. And they beat the Houston Astros in round one, and they put up a fight against the Cleveland Guardians, who are the second best team in the American League. So I think, if you look at the roster, it's a bunch of nobodies. No one you've ever heard of unless you follow the team or you just follow baseball closely at all. So I would definitely say him.
All right, National League. I'm gonna say Dave Roberts.
No,
yeah,
a nutless monkey could manage that team to 95 wins.
You know what? I think you have to look at how he set up that lineup, how he put him in place to success. Look at also too. You can sit there and say a nutless monkey, but you know what a nutless monkey can't do? They can't survive all those injuries that they had. They had one of the best pitching staffs, and none of those guys are pitching.
They have a legit starting rotation on the injury list.
Their whole starting rotation is gone. Everybody that they brought in, they were like, yo, we got this person coming in. You know, this is going to be a dominant team. All of them are hurt. And yet they still finished as the best team. I mean, I don't see how you cannot say he's the best manager this year. You put anybody else, I don't think it comes close.
They are meeting expectations, and to me, manager of the year, a good manager is able to do so much with nothing. That's why I think the Mets manager and the Padres no one gave them a chance all year. No one thought they were going to be anything. So I think it's
but that's even worse for Dave. I mean, that's even better for Dave Roberts because everybody expected him to be good. And let me ask you a question: when that rotation went down, was anybody going to give him a pass?
No.
Was anybody going to say, "Oh, you know what? It's okay. Your whole rotation went down"? No. So
Dave Roberts
for me,
has never he's never been considered for manager of the year.
That's wild.
No, it's because most people see a manager as
much turnover. Hold up. I think that's wild as hell. From when they first started getting to the postseason, their team is complete. They had all their farm guys. All of them have left. Corey Seager left. Bellinger. All these guys have left. Okay, gone to other teams. He's had to, he had Yasiel Puig, who was a nutcase. Okay, Clayton Kershaw, who for some reason in the playoffs turns into a slow pitch pitcher, and all of a sudden can't deliver the ball. and yet he's time and time again is taking this team to the playoffs. You know, I just think that he deserves some love, and I don't see why nobody wants to give it to him.
So he's been the Dodgers manager since 2015. He's only won the award once. That was in 2016.
And also too, didn't it like hasn't he taken this team? They have what they won the. I think they've only lost the division one time.
Yes, that was 21, and that was the year that the Giants beat him by like one game.
Yeah. So you've won the division 10 out of the 11 years that you've been a manager. I don't know. I think that's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. But yeah. Kershaw's a beer league pitcher in the playoffs. Absolutely. All right. Let us get into the MLB, the actual playoffs. So, don't mean to cover our faces up, but here was the bracket. Um, when you look at this bracket, I really feel, and I said this to a lot of people when talking about these playoffs. I really feel like this uh, Padres playoff win for the Dodgers really set them up for success. I think it was the most emotional, hard fought series where they were down in this series and could have just kind of packed it in like they've done before. Yet they did it and were able to prevail through a very tough team. The team that like even you said, Buck, a lot of people predicted we're going to be in the playoff or going to be in the World Series. A lot of people had San Diego as the team.
No. That's not what I said. I said
No. But a lot of people had.
A lot of people thought they'd be like a 70 to 72 win team.
Yeah, but a lot of people thought that the Padres going into playoffs was the best team going
Correct.
into playoffs.
Yes. By the end of the season, everyone kind of changed their tune, like, oh, this is actually a good team. But back in March and April, that is not what people were saying.
Well, because they lost Soto. I mean, you lose.
Correct.
You lose that. You lose that bad. Tatis had gotten in trouble. So yeah, I could see that. But Philly. I really think people were like, if it's not Atlanta, if it's not San Diego, if it's not Philly, or the Brewers, like nobody really had the Dodgers going to the World. People say they did, but I think a lot of people were just like, oh, they're good in the regular season, and then when it comes to the playoffs, they're going to choke like they usually do. I think that San Diego series really showed something. Who were some other surprises for you going into these playoffs that you were like, wow, I can't believe they made it, or I can't believe they made it this far? Like, who were some of
the Detroit Tigers? They were like the last 6 weeks of the season, the run that they went on from being a seller at the trade deadline to making in as the final wild card to sweeping the Houston Astros and pushing the Cleveland Guardians to a full series in 5 games is really impressive.
All right. Anybody else that you want to shout out?
I thought it was surprising that Baltimore yet again didn't do absolutely anything in the playoffs. Like they literally didn't score at all. Other than that, there's nothing that surprised me too much. Milwaukee always seems to not win in the playoffs. They just can't get out of the first round. It doesn't matter who the manager is. So, yeah, I think that would be about it.
All right. So, now let's look at we'll start off with the Dodgers. They're going into this World Series. A little, and it's a weird kind of dynamic because they've been scoring like crazy, Buck, but then like Freddie Freeman's hurt. Their whole starting pitching is hurt. is it Miguel Rios? Who got
Miguel
hurt?
Rojas. Yeah.
Rojas. Yeah, Miguel Rojas gets hurt, and the guy that replaces him wins the NL MVP in the playoffs.
Totally didn't
The
know that.
NL, yeah, it is. So it's kind of this weird thing, and they get a week off. Freeman gets to relax. Kind of um, let his ankle rest. Shohei gets to rest. Everybody gets to rest. Kiki Hernandez all of a sudden turns into freaking Babe Ruth during the playoffs. Like he
It's
can't.
absolutely ridiculous. And the thing is, it's not just this year. Like what he just does in the playoffs in general is some of the most insane things I've ever seen. Like he didn't do it just with LA.
He did it. He did. Yeah, he did it with. He did it with
Boston.
Boston.
Like his like postseason numbers is like you said, like Babe Ruth style. So he's been in the playoffs since 2015, which is 19 series. So it's almost half a season's worth. 15 home runs. Like that is clutch. Like that is really impressive. Like some guys in all sports, it turns to the playoffs and they just become different players.
Yeah.
Now,
So
I don't know what's with his home run celebration with Gavin Lux. The whole I don't know what's going.
Let's touch some tips. It's okay. Let's touch some tips. Now kind of what's been the theme for the Dodgers in the playoffs, like we talked about, hit the whole starting rotation pretty much got hurt. Clayton Kershaw's out. I love Clayton Kershaw, but kind of like happy he's not playing in the playoffs. But what he has is he has Yamamoto, he has Walker Buehler, he has, I believe, also what was the other pitcher's name that's been pitching well for them? Flaherty. Those are kind of their three starting pitchers, and then he kind of does this thing of bullpen, having a bullpen game where they don't really start a starting pitcher or a high quality starting pitcher, and they just kind of run with the bullpen. And if they're able to score and the bullpen is able to not let the other team score, then they put in their heavy arms toward the end to try to get that win. If not, they just kind of let it go. They talked about this. Dave Roberts talked about this, and Mets fans got real pissed off because he was like, they kind of Ken Rosenthal said, he kind of conceded those games because he was like, all right, they're already winning. Cool. I'm not going to throw my big arms out there. I'm going to wait till the next game. And, Mets fans got butthurt because they're like, oh, no, we won those games. You didn't let us win that game. And it's like, well, no, that's not what he's saying. Okay. He's saying that
the NLCS was awful. Like it legit was awful. Every game was a blowout. They were not competitive whatsoever. Like every game, but
the games that the Mets won, it was against the Dodgers' weak bullpen. Like they're not good pitching. Had the Dodgers had any of their good starters, I think the Dodgers sweep the Mets, to be honest with you. But they just decided, like, hey, we're gonna pitch a bullpen. We're not gonna throw heavy arms out there because they wanted to rest them. And wanted to give just for later games, and it worked out. It worked out against the Padres too, and so I think you got to give Dave Roberts credit, but I think fans are taking it a little too. It's almost like they're taking it as a slight toward them, like they weren't good enough. Well, again, you got to look at the reality. The Dodgers' starting pitcher is a guy that had Tommy John surgery, hasn't pitched in God knows how long, a rookie from Japan, and Flaherty, I don't know much about him. So, but that's your starting. Those are your best pitchers. Think about it. And people are not talking about that. That's another reason Dave Roberts. He has his starting pitching is a guy that had just come off Tommy John surgery, a rookie Japanese pitcher, and Flaherty, who they traded for, who have been, and all three of these guys have been playing great in the playoffs, and they're going to lean on them. So I think that's a big thing too. But what impressed you with the Dodgers run this year? Or I know you're not you're never impressed by the Dodgers, but what impressed you? Like what were you like? Okay,
that bullpen, what they did to San Diego to end the NLDS in the last 2.5 games completely shut down that offense. Like, that was really, like, I don't like to give props to Dave Roberts because I think that he tends to overmanage in the playoffs, especially with his bullpen. But what he did against San Diego, it worked very, very well. Like we said in the NLCS, there were. Do you want to bring him on for the Yankees part?
If he wants to jump on, he'll message me. But go ahead, keep going.
But no, and then like we said, like the 2 games that the Mets won were Dodger bullpen games, which I think Dave Roberts was just trying to do as much as he can until it worked, like for as long as he could. Like game 2, it didn't work. Land and Knack just kind of blew up. And like I said, like every game was a blowout. Freddie Freeman is an absolute beast because if you saw his ankle injury to end the regular season, you're like, there's no way this guy should be playing.
And he's been hitting well too. And he stole a base. He stole a base, which was uncalled for.
Yeah, I was like, if I'm Dave Roberts, like, what are you doing? Why are you stealing a base? Like he just there are certain guys that when it matters most, like unless they're on their deathbed, they will try. And then there's some players, Kawhi Leonard, that will not do a single thing.
And I really do think though that this break is going to help Freddie Freeman. Like I really do think.
Yeah, I think they had 6. I think their last game was Sunday, so like 5 days off is going to be huge for him.
And he's probably had like every day 3 to 4 hours of treatment on his.
Yeah, because I believe they said on the broadcast like it's an all-day treatment thing to get him ready for games.
Yeah.
So hopefully the 5 days of doing treatment and the rest will definitely help him out.
Yeah, and shout out to Freddie Freeman, especially what he went through with his son and everything like that. You know, so I think the bullpen, I think the lineup, the fact that you have the Shohei Ohtani hitting first, and then when he has people on base, he just absolutely murders the ball.
Okay, this is what I wanted to discuss. This is like everyone's like, this is so shocking. No, it's not. When you have a player of Shohei's quality, when there's no one on base, you don't mind walking him. You can pitch around him. You can pitch at the edges of the strike zone, and hopefully that he swings at not great pitches. When there's runners on base, you have to pitch to him because of who's behind him. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez. So
which is a huge signing.
Dude, he bet on himself, and he's gonna reap the rewards of that. Whether that's
I wouldn't be surprised though if he stays with the Dodgers.
I think he wants to. Like he
wants to too. I think he wants a deal, but he'll take a deal that's friendly for both sides. Like he's gonna get paid, but he's also gonna help them, retain some money.
So let's actually take a
look at. I wonder if Shohei bet on the Dodgers to make the World Series.
Dude, everyone was saying. Everyone has been saying that the last week. I'm like, that's actually a really good question. So, Oscar. Is it not on? Oh, I wonder if it's because if it's a expiring deal. It's not gonna. Yeah, it may not be on here. Oh, it's because it's the 2025 contract.
My bad. Yeah, he definitely had a really good series in New York. When it came to when they played each other.
Yeah, so he
had a quiet NLCS, but he had a real good,
he didn't play that well in the NLCS, but I think overall on the season he did very well. So he's getting paid $23.5 million this year. So maybe the Dodgers offer him like a 3-year, $80 million deal. Like
if he's because he talked about he wanted to play for a winner. I mean, if you come back with this team, it's the same team. Like the only person, like who do you see leaving the Dodgers? Like nobody. Mookie's not leaving. Freddie's not leaving. Shohei's definitely not leaving.
Will
They're gonna get
Smith
all
is
their.
congratulations to Will Smith. He recently his wife just had a baby, so congrats to them.
They're gonna get all those hurt starting pitchers are coming back, and hopefully, God,
So
they can stay healthy.
Walker Bueller may or may not, because I'm not sure if they want to bring him back because he hasn't pitched that well. But again, it's Tommy John, and to be honest, that truly takes 2.5 years to come back from. And he's just over a year, maybe a year and a half. Breaking Kike Hernandez is getting paid $4 million a year, which is just blows my mind. And then there's Shohei, who gets $2 million in his baseball salary, but I believe I saw something like he got like almost 80 million just from his endorsements this year. So that's why he made the deal that he did, because of how much
Absolutely.
he's getting in endorsements for, like, I don't remember what company, but like if you watch on MLB.TV,
It's probably New Balance because
yes, every freaking commercial between is New Balance.
And if he can win the World Series this year,
so
he's about to get paid.
I said this, that for the Dodgers, for that contract to feel worth it, you got to win at least 3 or 4 World Series in the next 10 years. So starting your first year,
and you win one,
that's off to a really good start.
Especially when he's not pitching. Like if they're able to get their starting pitching back and not have him be, have to depend on him to pitching, I think he's gonna be great. And then when he's ready to pitch, and he can dominate in that sense, it's gonna be worth it. I mean, I know what you're saying, that it's good for what they paid him. They have to win some World Series. They've already made the money back. The money was made back.
Underpaid, by the way. He's so underpaid.
But the Dodgers, as far as just merchandise, games, everything like that, they've already made the money back. Like World Series tickets for this game is ridiculous.
Yeah, I heard it's pretty ridiculous there at Dodgers fans.
So they've already made that money that they're going to have to pay him. Like in the next 2 years, they're going to make it. So I don't think that's the thing. I get what you're saying as far as what you bring this guy in for. They have to win a couple World Series, and D Weezy says it. If they get 2 rings, it's worth it. If they can get 2 rings back to back, which I don't think, who's done the last back to back World Series. I think
it might have been the Yankees in 08, 09.
Yeah, so you win back to back. They're good. They're good. All right, let's move on to the Yankees.
Do we have to?
We do have to. This is a team. And it's fun, it's funny, and I wanted to bring this point up earlier. How people are very upset. Oh look, it's the teams that have spent the most money, but yet the parity was amazing in the playoffs. The parity was amazing in the season.
So the last back-to-back champions was when the Yankees went three-peat, 98, 99, 2000.
Okay.
So it's been a while.
Yeah. So, when people say, "Oh, these championships are bought," things like that, you know what?
This is the first time in a very long time that the actual number 1 seeds in both leagues are in the World Series.
Yeah.
It doesn't work most of the time.
It doesn't. You're right, and it hasn't.
This is the exception, not the rule, y'all.
Yeah, and for sure. But I think it's gonna be a thing for the next couple of years, because these organizations are run great, and they're doing deals, they're making trades that catapult them into being a good team. And then you got good managers, you got good players. Let's be honest, like these 2 teams, as much star power as they have, we really don't hear the me factor. It's us.
They do,
and both teams
have any me guys on
either team, which is really crazy because go ahead.
Maybe Juan Soto, but not with the Yankees. He was a very me guy with the Padres for sure, and I'm very curious as to what changed, like why he was so only after myself, but he has not been that guy with the Yankees.
Yeah, and you got. I mean, we going into this World Series. I don't know. Have we ever seen this before? We have 5 MVPs going into this World Series.
Yes, we did.
5 different MVPs. That's wild. And if Clayton Kershaw wasn't hurt, it'd be 6.
Tani, Betts, Freeman, Judge. Who else? Who's number 5?
Stanton.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I thought you were gonna say Soto. I'm like, Soto's technically actually never won an MVP.
No,
Stanton.
Stanton. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what Stanton is freaking doing this postseason? Jesus.
Ferris said that is incorrect. He was not a me guy in Santa.
Ferris, he absolutely was a me guy. That's why the Padres clubhouse was so toxic. Is he only cared about himself there?
It has changed. You got to admit the San Diego Padres club has changed since he left.
Yeah, since he left.
That story was BS. BS.
I'm just relaying what my friend who has contacts in the San Diego clubhouse told me. That story, it was a little inflated, but it was kind of like not like parts of it.
So going into these playoffs right now, you have Stanton with 5 home runs, Mookie Betts with 4, Mookie Betts with 12 RBIs, Stanton with 11. OPS, you got Anthony. I don't know how to say his last name. .459 and Torres with 11 hits. Max Muncy .468 and Tommy Edman 15 hits. Tommy Edman's batting average .341 and Juan Soto is a .333. Both of these have offense. Both of these teams can hit the ball. What do you think is gonna? And we'll get into predictions. What do you think is going to be the deciding factor to win this World Series for whoever you feel is going to win? Like, what do you think? Because I believe both offenses are going to show up. Well, yeah, pitching, but it's kind of weird for the Yankees. They're starting pitching. For the Dodgers, it's their bullpen.
Yeah. I would say the Yankees have a better starting pitching. Dodgers have a better bullpen, but I think the Yankees have a better closer, which is so weird to say. Luke Weaver is like the best closer in the playoffs for a closer this year. But whatever the Yankees did, they figured it out with him because he is. If you just take out the big home run that he gave in Game 3 versus the Guardians to Noel, Luke Weaver pitched a very good postseason as a closer for the Yankees.
Ferris believes there'll be secondary players like Edman and Valup. Is it Valup?
Volpe. Anthony Volpe.
Volpe. Okay.
Yeah.
9 for.
And the only blown save was the Noel home run. Like Luke Weaver, which is weird because he was an awful starting pitcher. Like just atrocious starting pitcher. But he goes to the bullpen and Yankees gave him a shot as the closer because Clay Holmes is. We'll have Ferris describe his thoughts on Clay Holmes because it's not good.
Soto under over 13.5 walks this series.
Fair. I'm taking that under. Like, even if this goes 7, that's averaging 2 walks a game. Like, that's, yeah, fair. Exactly. Like, he's not, Clay Holmes is not good. That'd be weird. But I think both offenses are very, very, very good. Like, the top of that Yankees lineup with Torres, Soto, Judge, Stanton, really good. Dodgers, Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Teoscar. Like, I don't think we're going to have an issue with runs being scored. I'm just curious to see how the pitching does. Because I think, like it is every year, pitching basically dictates how these teams' postseason goes. Like, we've seen it with the Dodgers. Like they went on that run of what was it, 24? No. Like
What the scoreless innings? It was
yeah.
33.
Okay, 33. All right. I knew there was a 3 in there, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's 3.5 games of not giving up. And it's not like they had 3 pitchers going. It was their bullpen. So they had like 8 or 9 guys doing that. To me, that is I will take my D-backs, I hate the Dodgers hat off and just put on my like baseball fan hat. That is really impressive, regardless of who does it. Like just
Yeah,
shutting a team down for that many innings is very difficult to do.
for sure. All right, who you got in the World Series and how many games?
So we're gonna put on my. So I'm gonna give you 2. There is my D-backs Dodger hater hat, and that's Yankees in 4. But my actual baseball fan, I'm going to go Dodgers in 6 because I just think that bullpen is really,
Bears, Yankees in 6.
really. I just that bullpen, like you see it year after year. The teams that have that shutdown bullpen, where instead of it being a 9-inning game, they turn it into a 6-inning game. Because if the Dodgers have the lead at the top of the 7th, like the game's pretty much over. Like that, like that's how dominant their top bullpen arms are. Is they can just completely shut it down. Yankees don't have like 4 or 5 guys that can do that. They have Weaver and they probably have Tommy Kahnle. But if I'm a Yankees fan, I do not feel comfortable with Clay Holmes if the Yankees have a lead there in the last 3 innings. Like if I'm a Yankees fan, I'm watching like this, just covering my eyes, just not being able to watch.
The
Yeah,
changeup man.
literally
All right,
all he throws is changeups, and it's like they can't hit it. Like they know it's coming, and you still can't hit it.
I'm gonna go Dodgers in 6. I think they're gonna get. They will win it at home. And I think. Oh, who's gonna be your MVP?
I think he's going to continue hit. So if the Dodgers win, I'm going to go Mookie. If the Yankees win, I think Giancarlo Stanton continues it. So Stanton, like Stanton in the playoffs, literally has more home is like I don't know what it is. Like I'm like don't pitch to him. If there's runners on base late in the game, even with bases loaded, I might even walk him just so you get 1 run and not give up 4.
I think it's gonna be Dodgers in 6, and I will say my MVP is gonna be Freddie Freeman.
Nice, good story. I mean,
So,
all he has to do is hit.
I think he's gonna hit a couple bombs, and he's gonna get some runs in and
It's gonna
important
take
moments.
like 2 minutes to run around the bases, but
Yeah, but it's okay. Take as long as you want. All right, Buck, we're gonna get out of here. Let the people know where they can find you at and all your content, please.
all right. As Suge said, I host a podcast on YouTube, D-backs Dispatch. Go ahead and check us out. If you're a fan of the D-backs, just baseball in general, we have we support all fandoms. We even have Suge that is in our little group that we have. We're also, if you just search on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well, or any audio platform, you can find us, D-backs Dispatch. Our social is the same. Our Twitter is the same at D-backs Dispatch. You can find my personal Twitter right here, Brandon Buck 88, where I have all that linked in my Twitter. So go ahead and check it out.
Yeah, appreciate you coming by, Buck. And for me, Suge Knight 323 on TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Suge Knight 1323 on Twitch, where I'm usually playing Fortnite, Magic the Gathering, TCG, Card Shop Simulator, and some other games. Come hang out. Do a lot of TikTok streams over there. So if you want to come hang out, This Tuesday we'll have Steel Conspiracy. Monday we will have a show right after the Giants and Steelers game where I'll be joined by the one and only Mr. Muthana, and we'll be talking Giants and Steelers. So make sure to come hang out. Appreciate everybody that stopped by tonight. Really do appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button, and we are out of here. Have a good night.